what I mean is they're going to do even more than they did the first 2 years before we got there and spend Cassie's future away and put government all over us. Now, if the country decides to go the other direction and put Romney in the White House and keep the Republicans in charge of Congress, I hope and pray we do what's right. Will we? I don't know.
I think you misinterpreted your question. My question is basically, if you get elected again, Romney gets into the office, what can we do after election now?
Yeah, that's where I was going. So your job, if you put Republicans in power, is to keep a foot up our butts. I mean that. And do it again in 2 years. Do it again in 2 years. Young man, this is going to take a few elections to right itself. We're done with intellectual debates and arguments. If I offend anybody, I apologize. We're right. The idea this country was founded upon, that's the right idea. Their idea is wrong. We've won the argument. Now it's all politics. And it's a race. Let's go right there in the block. Right here. Oh, wait, you already had a question. Sit down. Nice try.
I'm sorry.
All the way in the back. That was on me, I was. Yes, ma'am.
I was just made aware of a new law that was passed on April 2nd, 2012. The Supreme Court handed down an anonymous it's a wrongful convictions law. In other words, if a government official, a prosecutor, or law enforcement indictment against an innocent person by manufacturing a charge, the innocent person has no legal recourse to hold the government official. Basically what's happening is innocent people are going to be put in jail, and there's going to be no recourse because the government official is going to be protected. I can't understand how that can even be passed in Congress. What's going on with this? Can we do something about this? This is going to put innocent people in jail for many years, and there isn't going to be any recourse for them.
Thank you. Let me take a look at what you've got, okay? Before you leave tonight. Let me take a look.
I have some extra copies. If anybody knows anyone in this situation, that you're welcome to take a look at.
Let me take a look at what you have. Thank you. Thank you. Before you leave. Let's come all the way in the front. You got one?
Yeah.
Grab that mic.
My name's David from Streamwood.
Stand up, face the crowd.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have to. Face me.
All right. Yeah, the question's about Obamacare. And are there any provisions in there that you do like? The 80-20, being able to keep your kids on up to 26 years old, can't be denied coverage.
There are plenty of not plenty. There are a few concepts in the bill I like. My short answer is the entire bill needs to be repealed and we need to start over. And do I like the notion of somebody's child being able to stay on their parents' health insurance plan until they're 26? Kind of like the idea. Do I want the government mandating that? No. Do I like the idea of dealing with pre-existing conditions? Yeah. Do I think there are better ways to deal with pre-existing conditions than having the government force insurance companies to accept people with pre-existing conditions? Yeah. So what I like is, and let me stand up for private insurance in this country because they're always the bad guys. Right now, private health insurance companies in this country are mandated and regulated to death. To death. So I want to get to a world where there's a big burgeoning marketplace out there of a lot of healthcare insurance companies, and we can choose and pick. But no, I don't want the government telling me.
Okay.
So
All right.
another quick one, because we're about to.
All right, Ken, I mean, I'd like to see the Republican proposal before Obamacare is dissolved or repealed, whatever word.
Okay. Okay. And again, it's been out there. Have a seat. We do a lousy job sometimes of articulating what the replace is. Get rid of Obamacare, start over. Do a few simple things. Let people buy insurance across state lines. Give me major medical malpractice reform. Expand health savings accounts. We got to put more Americans in charge of their own health care costs. And you know what? Reform Medicare. Reform Medicare. Get away from this fee-for-service thing that we've been living under, where we pay doctors to do things. Whether it's right or not, we pay doctors to do stuff. We can't afford that. Get back to, we got to somehow move to, for younger Americans, a model where, yeah, just like what Paul Ryan said, you're given a certain amount of money, and like a consumer or a shopper, you go out there and shop for your best health care. Somehow we got to get back to a country, and Duckworth will use this against me, where the government is always the backstop for the truly needy. But most of us have got to assume more of the cost for our own health care. Hard thing to say. We're going to close in a sec. Hold up. Because remember, in this America, we're all keeping more of the money we make. Last question. All the way in the back. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Julie, I live in Addison. Quick question, you touched on it a little bit. I don't know if this exact question has been presented to you, but I heard that what Obama had said a few years ago, that he thinks that if people like their health plan, they can keep it. I heard that that is an outright lie, and I'm wondering, what do you know? Is there a time frame eventually where people will have fewer choices, maybe the cost of care will go up? What do you know as far as the details of people not having as much choice eventually?
What we know and will learn worse, but what we know right now is there are estimates that anywhere from 20 to 40 million Americans on their employer-based coverage will lose that coverage over the course of the next 5 or 6 years and be thrown onto the Medicaid rolls. We know that. And that's just the beginning. See, what your government's doing is, your government is incentivizing business owners to just get rid of their employer-based coverage. Pay the penalty. Pay the penalty from the government and put your employees on government health care. So yes, that's coming. Let me see if I can find this quote. Great quote. And then I'll close. A former Democratic governor of Louisiana said, one implication of Obamacare is that for a person starting a business in 2014, it will be logical and responsible simply to plan from the context of not offering health coverage. So for new companies coming into existence, unless we get rid of Obamacare, they just won't offer health care benefits. But you're right. That estimate of 20 to 40 million is going to be even more. Hey folks, let me end with this, and I'll stick around and talk to anybody who wants to stick around. And then I got to eat something because I'm starting to get weak in the knees. Here's my question for everybody in the room. I so wish often we didn't get buried down in the details. You may not agree with me. You may think that I talk too much like a happy revolutionary. But I wish you bought half of what I said. That we really are close to losing this thing. And so my question to everybody, and our pastor in the back said it, what are you prepared to do? to not live in a country where your government can force a man or woman of the cloth to do something that goes against their faith? What are you prepared to do to stop that? To make sure the government can't force you to buy something you don't want to buy? And tax you if you don't buy it? And what are they going to do if you don't? What are you prepared to do to stop that? You're a small business guy that's finally up against it. You got no money left. I was with a guy, a businessman in Elk Grove 2 days ago that said, I got 6 more months or I'm done. I'm closing my shop. 3 years ago he had 20 employees. Now he's down to 3. He said, my only option is to retire. You want to have a really interesting afternoon with me? Walk around Elk Grove or any town in this district and we'll talk to 10 small business owners and I'll bet you dollars to donuts. Love that phrase. I'll bet you dollars to donuts you're going to see in that 2 hours 3 or 4 grown men in their 50s cry. I mean, cry because of what their government is doing to them. And I ask them before I leave the meeting, I always ask them, what are you prepared to do to save your company? Doctors. Doctors are leaving the profession. What are they prepared to do to save their profession? That's what this has come down to. And it's really easy, guys. Final thought. This is not complicated. It's really easy. Tammy Duckworth and I have 2 dramatically different visions in this country, just like Obama and Romney do. Keep this thing respectful. Focus on the issues. This isn't hard. If you like where Obama's been taking us and you want the Democrats there with him, then vote for Duckworth and keep Obama in the White House. If that scares you, then you can't vote for Duckworth or Obama. If you are with me, I need your help. Where's Barbie? Barbie, stand up. That is my